Hello there. I think I finally have an HP plotter that I can actually set up and use. That's what I see when I see this HP 7470A here. Now, I've been trying to get an HP plotter working for at least 3, maybe 4 years. And part of that is because I was sent this HP 7221A by Bill in 2019. Now, I've been continuing to do research on the background about this thing, and I can't figure out how to make it work. It uses a proprietary compacted byte programming language to try and make it as fast as possible, and there were only HP provided software programs I can find that are actually compatible with it, and maybe a programming library for Fortran. The manual that describes what the byte format structure is doesn't have any good scans available online. HP Museum has one, but it's corrupt. And while there is a listing on eBay that you can find from a seller, they've actually had that up since 2019 when I got this thing, and in order to buy all of the manuals from them, it would cost well in excess of $100. I should probably ask the HP Museum to rescan their manual and see if that seller would bundle those other manuals for me, but I haven't been able to get this thing working. Now, this thing has been part of putting me off of trying to get other plotters, because for one, it's obscenely heavy. 2, it has an electrostatic paper holder mat that is damaged, and I'm not sure if it's still working or not, but that can be a problem. So I've been looking at other plotters. I picked up since then this large format HP plotter, which should theoretically work. It uses the standard HP pens that go in the carousel here. The only problem is that it's enormous, and I haven't had the space to set it up, so it just sits in my storage. Which brings me to the 7470A here. This is something I didn't know was quite as affordable as it was. I paid just around $100 for this thing, and I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One, it was untested, which isn't surprising, and the reason it's untested goes into another reason why I think it was so cheap. This is a GPIB model, or HPIB as HP would have you call it, and that isn't as usable with most systems, although I think I might actually have a solution for that with this National Instruments GPIB to serial adapter that we'll be seeing if this thing will work with today. But all of that made this thing worth taking the risk on shipping, with it being light so it wouldn't self-destruct, and affordable, so I was just excited to have the opportunity. Now, recently, I also managed to get my hands on actual HP plotter pens, and I believe these are still good. I've done some tests with them. These are unfortunately transparency pens, as evidenced by the T on there, but they will work on paper, just not as well. So today, we're gonna see if I can finally get an HP 7470A plotter working, although the first thing we're gonna have to do is take it apart and clean it, because it does have a couple of issues. All right, after some trial and error and my microphone not recording, I was able to get the 2 main rails that guide the carriage out to clean. Now, the first step was releasing a screw on the back of the solenoid that moves up and down, and it controls the paddle rail, I'm gonna call it, that lifts the pen up and down to draw. Once that was slid back, you can take off a cap, and then the rail is able to be slid out. To get the lower rail down that actually guides the whole cartridge, you have to take a clamping brace off of the motor, and with that out, you can slide the rail over and then lift up the other end and slowly slide it out. So getting into this to clean the rails is not too difficult, so that is kind of a relief. After having the rails out, I just wipe them off with a dry microfiber cloth. I don't need to bring cleaning solutions into this because you can just cause issues with that. Though a dry graphite-based lock lubricant might be acceptable, but I've never felt like I've needed that for things like this that I've cleaned, and I've had to clean one of my 8-inch floppy drives, which is built very similarly to this, and it was great after this. So yeah. Next, I'm cleaning the carriage itself here with the microfiber cloth, because there's dust not only on the rails, but inside of the plastic slides on here. The bottom one is a little tricky here, because it's got like springs and stuff. I could try and remove the belt from this, but it's kind of just forced on, and I could try and take that screw off, but I really don't like that idea. Oh, please, 40-year-old plastic, don't break now. I didn't expect that to be spring-loaded. Okay. Hopefully I can figure out how that went in there. Awesome. But at least I can clean this a little more freely. Oh, that's definitely where a lot of the dust was hiding out. So I'm happy I was able to get in there, get a good clean. Okay, now let's try and put the belt back together. All right, this is super weird. After reviewing the footage, it seems like this piece actually goes the other direction, pushing the spool away. I guess it's applying tension. Ah, there we go. Whew. Okay. That should do it. All right, while this is still loose, I'm gonna clean this off because I noticed there's a lot of dirt under the whole carriage section. I think someone had tried to clean this, but they didn't want to take it apart to do it. I don't know if that happened during use or maybe the seller right before I bought it did it. But it was really, really dirty inside. Oh, that is so much smoother than before. Yeah, that's made a huge difference. And I'm just gonna reverse my steps to put it all back together. Yeah, that is ridiculously smoother. Okay, before I bundle this all back up, I'm gonna give the mechanism one more test with the pens in there and see if it behaves this time. So, okay, left pen, nice and smooth. Right pen, oh, that is so much better than it was before. Very, very happy with those results. So, okay. I'm ready to put this thing back together and go try it out now. All right, the plotter should be ready to go now. The carriage moves so much smoother. Holy moly. I really wish I had some kind of like force gauge so I could show you just how much less force that takes to move. But we should be able to use this. Now, I mentioned that I would be using it with an HP Series 80 computer, and in the past, I've shown my HP 86 interfacing with GPIB test equipment, and that would work perfectly with this. However, since then, I have acquired an HP 85, so I figure let's go ahead and try it with that. Except there are a few problems. First off, the ROM drawer. So the plotter ROM that I mentioned in the mail video where I got the 7221 here is for the 8687 and is incompatible with the HP 85. Now, a lot of this comes down to the fact that the 85 has a 40 character display instead of an 80 character display, although realistically that shouldn't impact external devices, but it does. So that ROM's not compatible, and matter of fact, every ROM, to the best of my knowledge, is not compatible. I had to take out all of my HP 86 ROMs, and I bought one HP 85 ROM so that I could test my GPIB interface card with it, and that did work, but duplicating all of these vintage rare ROMs didn't really seem to be the most sustainable thing. On top of that, the HP 85 is somewhat infamous for its tape drive, which uses these HP 200 tapes here. This just goes in right there like that, and that's how you get data on and off of an HP 85. Except the tape drives are also known to go rogue, and then they kind of liquefy and stick to the tape on the roller there. So one of the things people know about that is that you can modify it to use something like this. This is a quick 80 tape that is basically exactly the same as the HP tape, just slightly taller. And Curious Mark has done a video about fixing the drive by adding a new spindle that moves the wheel that drives the tape up slightly higher so you can use these tapes. However, as far as I'm aware, both of these tape formats are not becoming particularly reliable, and the media likes to flake off. So, doesn't really make a lot of sense to try and get either one of those working. So with the ROMs being an issue and the drives being an issue, I figured I should just go for it, and I bought and everything but the kitchen sink board for the HP 85, and this is a really good way to go for one of these if you have one. So I do highly recommend this replaces the ROM drawer and a bunch of other stuff. It can emulate the tape drive and it can emulate disk drives. And this all works because basically internally, these Series 80s computers just use GPIB as their bus. Like IBM PCs use ISA as their bus. Everything on here is basically GPIB down to the monitor, the keyboard, the tape drive, the printer, which this does have a printer built in. So this is really easy to design and make. Well, not to discredit how much effort they put in. I mean, what I mean is that this can actually do a whole lot by just plugging into the back. It's really remarkable. So we're gonna use this thing to actually interface with this because this already has the IO ROM for the HPIB interface and the plotter ROM that this will need. All right, I am gonna go ahead and plug the everything but the kitchen sink board in up top here. There we are. I did remove the RS-232 battery to put it into something else, but I don't really care about RTC, so that's not a problem. And then I'm going to put in the HPIB GPIB card here. These are really not that easy to plug in. Kind of a problem with that. Oh yeah, another thing this does, I believe, is max out the RAM on these, so that's kind of cool. I'm gonna plug the GPIB cable in right here. I don't know what the default plotter address is supposed to be for GPIB. I'm gonna just quickly see if the manual says. Okay, looks like according to the plotter ROM for the 86, the default is probably address 5, which coincidentally is the first address that this thing also interfaces with without configuration. So that's hilarious. But that means that this is already configured correctly because I checked the dip switches for the address there and it's set. So that should work. Yeah, I think we can try this out. All right, let's put in some pens here. And I'm going to go ahead and put a sheet of paper in here too. This is annoying, but I do actually have HP plotter paper. I don't know where it is. I think it might be at home. So this is just regular printer paper for now. Also, these are transparency pens. So this is all kinds of wrong. I'm guessing that the paper stops because there's some plastic tabs that raise up here in the back. So I'm guessing you put it up to that point and then it pulls it in. So let's find out. Alrighty, so let's say pen 1. All right. It can't put them back. It can only pick them up, which is a little weird, but oh well. All right, I'm gonna turn the computer on. Awesome. So that is the setup from the everything but the kitchen sink board showing up on the screen there. Print. Hello. Oh, yeah, that's right. It actually literally prints hello. Now it says hello on the paper. That's, yeah, okay. According to the plotter ROM for the 86 there, I think we need to do plotter is 705 to get it to select that. Error, I see. Uh-oh. Does this have the plotter ROM? Okay. HP86, plotter and multimeter are both connected here. I rebuilt the ROM drawer for this thing, so I had the full original setup here, just so I could verify stuff. And then I rewatched my video one more time on how I connected this to that, and I think I may have actually found the issue. So if we redo the multimeter thing and output to it directly, turns out the GPIB address on this thing is set to 8. Which is weird because by default it should be 7, so it must have been opened and changed. I don't know how I figured that out or forgot that. But if I do conf res here, it should put the multimeter into resistance measurement mode, and boom. Okay, no beep, but we can see K ohm because there's no leads connected and it can't do a measurement. So GPIB interface is working. It's just on the wrong port. Well, wrong, yeah, it doesn't really matter. So now we can do plotter is 805, and now it should work. Awesome. Okay. That was concerning. I do want to play around with the HP 85 though, and unfortunately the FDM printed stems on this are sticking. I have some SLA ones that I was sent that I still need to put in here at some point that will fix this problem. But yeah, so I want to switch back to the HP85 and make sure that this setup works on that now. Okay, so we're going to do plotter is 805. Is that going to work? Okay. Whew, we're good. We're good. All right. Oh boy. That was really concerning. Well, I found the HP85 version of the plotter ROM manual, and it's like 3 times as long as the 86 one for some reason. Yeah, so maybe I need to go do a little more research. Or I thought I was just going to be able to type in the tangent code and have it like just do it, but apparently not. Okay, I read the manual for this, and the dimensions that I want are 180 by 120. Apparently, there is kind of a convention to have a first plotter area and a second plotter area, so that will work with that. And interestingly, I now know that the position 1 and position 2 buttons here go to opposite ends of the paper. I hadn't tried this with a paper loaded yet, so that's kind of cool. And when I power cycled this thing, it had slightly ejected the paper, so when I went from 2 to 1 a moment ago, it just kind of shot it out, which I was not expecting. So now I know it's 180 by 120. I can go ahead and start on this. So let me get typing. I've got the 85 plotter ROM code up here, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Okay, I think, let me clear and then list. I have the program in here. Okay. 30 limit, K. Okay, I'll go list 150, finish printing that, and yes, that all looks good. Okay, so I think I can run this now. So there shouldn't be anything happening on the display. It should be all in the plotter, so I'm going to move your view over to the plotter so that we can just see what happens. I have not plotted anything on this at all, so I have no idea if this is going to work or what. I think the pens are good. Unfortunately, they've been open overnight. I probably shouldn't have done that, but oops. So let's see what happens. All right, I'm about to hit run here, and I'm going to put my mic near the plotter so you can also hear the wonderful sounds of plotting. I'm in love with this thing. Oh my gosh, that was so cool. Holy moly. Wow, that is awesome. And when it was drawing the actual measurement on there, and it was stuttering, that was the weirdest thing because it looked like watching frame stutter in a game in real life. That's so weird and so cool to see. Wow. There's what the plot looks like up close. I'd say the pen is working very well for being new old stock, so I'm really happy with that. You can definitely tell towards the middle where it was going slower, it's darker, and where it's just flinging it all around, it's brighter. But it's amazing. I'm so happy. Man, that's awesome. That is very exciting. I can actually plot now. Oh, that's so cool. Now, while this is kind of the intended ecosystem for this plotter with the Series 80 stuff, I really do want to try and get it working with something else through that serial adapter, because that is just going to open so many doors. So I want to see if I can do that. But I did want to just quickly take a look at another couple things here related to this. So for one, this is the HP Series 80 catalog. Well, it's not dedicated to the Series 80, but it features prominently in here. Here is the plotter for, well, here, it's the 7470A. It doesn't exactly specifically talk about this plotter in here, which is unexpected, and there's no prices listed anywhere or anything, so it doesn't really matter. But one funny thing here is the 92 250N dust cover, designed of durable dark tan cloth to protect your valuable printer. What's funny is I actually got that with the plotter here. So there's that. Unfortunately, a mouse or a roach or something found it at one point there, but yeah, there's that. And there was something else that I thought was kind of interesting, because I was gonna say my HP86 came with a lot of software. So there's a VisiCalc here and a Word document processor here. And I was gonna say, I could totally see like putting together a spreadsheet and then plotting it onto the page and then using the word processor here to add like text and stuff relevant to it. So you can put together a worksheet, but then I saw right on the cover, that kind of hybrid document is literally exactly on the front cover. So how cool is that? This is seriously one, you know, I was gonna say it is my favorite computer ecosystem. It's so cool. So I'm really glad to have this, and I will be playing with this more with the Series 80 stuff. Maybe not the 85, because 40 characters by, what is it, 20 is kind of limiting. Definitely want to break out the 86, where then I can load the disk software as well. So yeah, but now I want to see what I can do with this, and I do already have KiCad installed on my IBM 5150 because I thought I was going to do a video about that. So we're kind of ready to go there. So let's check that out. Okay, some progress. This is connected to the Windows XP computer over there. If I send raw HPGL commands through PuTTY, then it does actually work. So here's pen down, pen is down, here's pen up, pen is up. So this is working. I just need to figure out how to use it. Although the serial port on that may not be working. That could be 100% of the problem, actually. Okay. Mild Hail Mary here. I can do the pen up and pen down control from this as well with a null modem USB cable, so that answers that. So I'm just gonna see what happens if I just straight up send it HPGL as a text file, because I should be able to do that from a modern computer. So let's see what happens. I'm adding a 2 millisecond character delay just so I don't like overwhelm that thing. And go. I think that's gonna work. It's not perfect with the export from KiCad, but that's really good. So here's what the schematic on the computer looks like. It's weird how identifiably that is the KiCad font, but just like drawn with a pen. Okay, so that last sample there was exported directly from KiCad just to a text file. They have the option to export to HPGL like that, and then I just sent it out as plain serial text over my USB serial adapter here. So I was actually able to open it and poke around in what commands it's sending. It's how I figured out pen up, pen down, but I also just figured out SP1 would be left pen, SP2 would be right pen, and SP0 would be no pens. So I could actually inject commands to change the pens to have multiple colors during the drawings here, even though I don't think this modern stuff is probably going to support that. So I think we're going to do one more test here because I'm kind of running out of day to film this, and I can't really come back here another day and have enough time to edit this for release this week. So we're going to try Inkscape, which can also export HPGL, and I'm going to see if I can draw the Tech Tangents logo on here. Because this is a green pen, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that one's green. Ooh, cool, I have RGB. But I also have a red pen, so I can put that in right here. And I could have the two different sides of the colors for the Tech Tangents logo if I can figure that out. So I'm gonna see if I can figure out where the drawings would change with that and try and insert a color change to make that work. So give me a moment. I'm going to play around with that. Okay, I think I have this, and Inkscape does actually support the pen change commands. You just have to name the layers, pen 1, pen 2, etc. You can also set speeds, which this probably does, but I don't know, so I just didn't bother. And I looked through the text file. They do look correct, so I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. We'll see what happens. The red one might not be doing so great. I'm going to try and run that again on the same exact sheet, change nothing, see what it does. I mean, it should just overdraw the same thing. Oh, we're getting really close to that red one. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's ridiculous. I'll shake it one more time too, just to try and help it as much as I can. Oh, I was successful. Uh-oh, that's a lot of red ink that just came out. That sucks. Okay, well, all right, it's gonna work now. Yeah, let's put in a fresh sheet of paper. Yeah, that one's, I don't think I need to double up on the red now. All right, I'm gonna rerun it one more time. That's perfect. Oh, yeah. That's so cool. Wow. I am certainly thrilled with the HP 7470A there. I can control it over serial from any device, really. So if there's software like, I don't know, does Paint Shop support plotters? I could control that from an Apple II. I mean, it's a native HP Series 80 thing. We looked at that already. That worked. This is just awesome. I am really excited that I get to play with a plotter now, finally. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to figure out a source of pens here because I definitely foresee myself messing around with this thing because holy moly, that is just awesome. I'm really excited. I've wanted to get a plotter working for a really long time, and to have it work that well, I really didn't think I was going to be able to program pen changes from a modern computer, so I'm really impressed with that. Yeah, wow, man, I am so excited. Well, I should wrap this up here because I would actually like to finish editing this video this week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that look at the HP 7470A plotter with the GPIB interface, 2 pens that can change out, and trying it out with a couple of different pieces of hardware. I'm betting the serial port is not set up correctly on that. Like, it might be disabled on the RAM expansion card or something, or maybe one of the other cards that I have in there is conflicting with it. There's a network card, the CM153 clone card, the USB adapter card. So there's like a lot of stuff in there that could be conflicting. So I don't know. So I'll figure that out some other time. I'm really happy that I was able to do Series 80 KiCad and custom stuff with Inkscape. Oh my gosh, that is just keys to the city. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video, you may want to subscribe because, I mean, I'm definitely going to be doing some shenanigans with plotters in the future. This really makes me want to drag my giant large format one up here into the office now. So maybe, I don't know. If you want to help support the channel, I am on Patreon, but for now, that's it, and I will see you next time.